right, here we go. We have a math test on Friday. Who's excited? I am. Here we go. It's like multi-step equations, inequalities with some word problems thrown in here. So this is just a one-step quick equation. 5x equals negative 15. So I have 5x equals negative 15. And I'm going to just simply divide both sides by 5. And I get x equals negative 3. And the best part about algebra is I can check and see if my answers are right, because I can plug this number back in for x here, and I do know that 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, so my answer is correct. If you're given an equation like this, we have x minus 6 equals 12. Okay, I'm going to look here. What's the opposite of subtraction? Well, the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And I get x equals 18. Again, I can plug in 18 here. And 18 minus 6 does equal 12, so that I know my answer is correct. So x equals 18. For the next one, when you have two-step equations, you have negative 2x plus 4 equals 12. I'm going to start with the number that's not with the x. So that's this number right here. And I'm going to look to the left of it, and it's a plus. So I have to do the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, because whatever I do to this side, I have to do over here, and this cancels. I bring down my negative 2x, and 12 minus 4 is 8. Now I have a one-step equation like I did earlier, and I'm just going to simply divide by negative 2, and I get x equals negative 4. Again, you can plug in negative 4 in for x and make sure that it works, because negative 2 times a negative 4 is a positive 8, and a positive 8 plus 4 does equal 12, so I know my answer is correct. So this one, x divided by 2 minus 3 equals 6. Again, I'm going to start with a number that's not with the x. So I have a minus 3 here, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I get x divided by 2. This cancels, equals 9. Okay, so I have to do the opposite of times, which means opposite of division, which is times. This cancels. I get x by itself. X equals 18 again. And again, you can plug in 18 to make sure that it works. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 9 minus 3 does equal 6, so my answer is correct. Number 5, these are inequalities. So this is just like an equal sign, except it has a greater than sign in the middle. So I'm just going to simply divide by 3. I bring down my x. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And since I did not divide or multiply by a negative, I don't have to switch the sign in the middle. And to graph this is an open circle. It's an open circle on 3. And it's pointing this direction. It's open circle. There's no line underneath it. So it's an open circle going this direction. Okay? As long as the x comes first and it's pointing this way, this is the way that it goes. But the variable has to come first. Again, you can check to make sure that these work. So what's the next number bigger than 3? It's a 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 is greater than 9, so that works. It's another way you can double check to make sure that your answer is correct and that the arrow is going the right way. All right, negative 5. There's 2 negatives in there. I don't mean the opposite of negative. Negative 5x plus 4 is greater than 29. Again, it's the same thing if you had like an equal sign in there. Start with the number that's not with the x. And I'm going to do the opposite of what's in front of it. It was add, so I'm going to subtract. Bring my inequality sign down. 29 minus 4 is a 25. Negative 5x Okay, I'm going to divide by a negative. When I divide by a negative, I have to switch my sign. So x, and then I'm going to flip it. It's less than -5. Again, open circle on -5, and it's pointing this way. So I'm going to go this way, pointing this way. Open circle. There's no line underneath it. If it was this means that the circle would be closed. Still going the same way. Okay? Again, you can put in a number this way. Okay, the number line's going this way. So the next number would be a -6. And a -6 times a -5 would be a +30. +30 plus 4 is greater than 29. So I know my answer is correct and it's going the right way. Ooh. So this is x divided by 3 minus 4 is greater than 6. Again, I'm going to start here. The number that's not with the variable, which is the -4 or -4, do the opposite of that, which is add. So I get 10, bring down my greater than sign, x divided by 3. The opposite of division is to multiply, so I'm going to times by 3. That cancels. I did not divide by a negative, so I keep my sign, or I keep my inequality, and I get x is greater than 30. So if I were to graph that, I've got a 30. It's an open circle because there's no line underneath it. It's pointing this way, so it's going to go this way. Okay, you can pick any number you want. I'm going to pick a number divisible by 3 going this way, so maybe 60. 60 divided by 3 is 20. 20 minus 4 is greater than 6, so I know that my answer is right and my arrow is going the right way. I don't know why it keeps doing that, sorry. Please solve the following 5D word problem. Okay, so the trick to this is to figure out whoever is the youngest. So Mr. Tomko is older than Mrs. Steinmetz, so he's not the youngest. Mrs. Breen is 5 years older than Mrs. Steinmetz. She's not the youngest either, so that means Mrs. Steinmetz is the youngest, and that person has to be X. Okay, so then I have 3 people, 1, 2, 3, so that means I need 3 columns, right? So we've got Mrs. Steinmetz, who's the youngest. X usually comes first in this table. Then you've got Mr. Tomko and Mrs. Breen. It really doesn't matter as long as you have the youngest person first, who comes next. So I'm going to go in order. So Mr. Tomko is twice the age, so 2x of Mrs. Steinmetz. Mrs. Steinmetz is the X, so 2x is Mr. Tomko. And Mrs. Breen is 5 years older than, so x plus 5, because Mrs. Steinmetz is the X. And together, their ages are 69. So decide if they equal 69. So here in the do, you're just going to add whatever you wrote in the columns. X plus 2x plus x plus 5. Does it equal 69? Okay. Now, when you solve this, you're going to count how many x's you have. So I have 1x, 2, 3, 4 x's, 4x plus 5 equals 69. Now you can solve this like a regular equation. So I have 4x plus 5 equals 69. I'm going to solve for x, subtract. I'm going to get 64. This cancels. 4x equals 64. Divide by 4. I'm going to get x equals 16. Okay, I'm not done, but at least I know one person. I know the x. I know the x is Mrs. Steinmetz. Okay, so just bear with me because I'm running out of space. So I know x equals 16, right? So Mrs. Steinmetz is 16. And it says, how old is each person? Well, now I need to figure out Mr. Tomko. So Mr. Tomko is twice that, or 2 times 16 is 2 times 16, which is 32. Okay. And Mrs. Breen is 16 plus 5, right? Because it was x plus 5. So I'm 21. Okay. Now you can, again, double check and make sure that you're right, because you can add 16 plus 32 plus 21 and make sure that you get 29. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it works. So my answer is correct. Mrs. Breen ate 4 times minus 1 cookies as Miss Gazdak. Miss Fusco ate 3 times as many cookies as Miss Gazdak. Together they ate 159 cookies. Okay, again, we have 3 people, so I need 3 columns. Okay. First things first, you have to figure out who ate the smallest number of cookies. Whoever ate the smallest number of cookies is your X. So Mrs. Breen ate 4 times as much. I'm not the least amount of cookies. Miss Fusco ate 3 times as many, so she's not the smallest number of cookies. So that means that Miss Gazdak is your X, okay, smallest person. So I ate 4 times minus 1, so 4 times minus 1 cookies. Mrs. Fusco ate 3 times as many cookies, so she's 3x. Again, to do the do, you just add those what you have in the columns. X plus 4x minus 1 plus 3x, and you have to decide if they equal 159. Okay, so again, we have to add our x's. We've got 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 x's. Minus 1 equals 159. Add 1 to both sides. So I get 8x equals 160. I'm going to divide by 8. And x equals 20. So that means Miss Gazdak over here ate 20 cookies. Okay? So x equals 20 cookies, and that's Miss Gazdak because she ate the fewest. And then to figure out me, Mrs. Breen, I ate 4 times as many as that, which I really shouldn't. That would be 80, minus 1, which is I ate 79 cookies. And Mrs. Fusco ate 3 times as many cookies as Miss Gazdak. So Miss Gazdak's here, she ate 20. 3 times that is 60. So Mrs. Fusco ate 60 cookies. Again, you can double check to make sure that you're right, because 20 plus 79 plus 60 needs to add up and equal 159, and it does, so I know that I'm right. All right, so don't let the fraction scare you. It's like any other equation here. Start with the number, not with the x. That's a 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 2/3 x equals 12. Now you can divide by 2/3, or you can flip and multiply by the reciprocal, because that gets x by itself. So I'm going to multiply times 3 over 2. So anytime you do that, you just times the top and then divide. 12 times 3 is 36. 36 divided by 2, or half of 36, is 18. Again, you can plug it back in and make sure that 18 works for your answer. All right, when Mrs. Fusco's watch is fully charged, it can last up to 40 hours before running out of battery. It has been charged for 2 hours, so this plus this has to be less than or equal to 40, right? You can't go over 40, because it can last up to 40 hours, but it can't go over. That's how you know that it has to be this way. But it can equal 40, okay? There inequality, and then we just solve like we normally do. Pretty easy, we don't have to divide. We bring down our sign because we didn't divide or multiply by a negative number. And then to graph, this one is a closed circle on 38. So my closed circle, because it has a line underneath it, and it is going this direction because it's pointing this direction. And D is for Delicious sells gourmet cookies in boxes of 5. Depending on the type of cookie, a box can cost at most, so it can cost $30, but it can't go over $30, so that's why you know it's less than, okay? Solve for x here. I get x is less than or equal to 6, okay? Again, has a line underneath it, so it's a closed circle on 6, and it's pointing this way, so it's going to go this direction.